Hey guys, it's Craig, and I wanted to go ahead and ask you a question. What is level 1 to you? Level 1 to me has always been like the beginning of your character's story. Not necessarily like the very beginning. Like, you have a background, that's fine, but like, level 1 has always been to me where you start as soon as that background's gone. It's like your background's like your prelude of the story, and you're starting at chapter 1. That's always been level 1 to me. But some people I've played with, or some people that have tried to play with me, don't really see it the same way. And I guess it's fine, but if I'm like the GM, or, if I'm in that group, I want to have a good time. And I don't really like seeing the hero at level 1. That's just not how I prefer to play. I don't want anyone to have the spotlight or anything like that at level 1. I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose for me. So, okay, let's go kind of generic here. Let's say you were a farm boy, right? And orcs come to your village, and they attack your village and they burn it down, and your family dies. But somehow you hid under some furniture or something in your house, and they didn't see you, but you witnessed your family dying and you couldn't do anything about it. Now you're just you have nothing to live for really, except for maybe revenge if that's what you're going for, or maybe you're just trying to survive and try to you don't have a home anymore, so now you're just a wanderer. So really, that's your background. Now you're starting off at level 1, you're trying to figure out things about your life. Maybe you're finding clues to something, or maybe you just know that you want to kill orcs. So you go out on these adventures to make money because you need to live, and killing orcs is your thing. I don't know. Something like that. But on the flip side, you have some people who are like, I'm a war veteran. I've been through so many wars. I have so many scars from all these wars. And I was a really high-ranked guard and stuff like that. But now, I'm retired and I just want to go on adventures. Kind of breaking immersion for me, or at least breaking the reality of mechanics complementing the game. You're more like looking at mechanics as, this is just the level you are in mechanics. But, story-wise, it doesn't matter. Mechanics just limit to what you can do in fights. Which I don't like that. No. I think levels should complement the storyline. If you want to be a war veteran that's been through a lot of wars and now you're well-decorated hero and all that stuff, you're probably going to be a higher level because you're going to have these skills, and you're going to have... you're just going to have rank, and you're going to have some money or something, But a level 1 guy doesn't. Now, maybe you could put in your backstory that you were this great hero, and maybe your kingdom fell asunder, or something like that, and all your character remembers at least. You as a player might know your character's background, but your character might not. Maybe your character has amnesia. Maybe he lost a lot of his skills and stuff like that. Maybe during the fight he bumped his head and they thought he was dead anyway, so they just left him alone. Whoever sieged your kingdom. That could make sense, I suppose. But, at least go through the effort in saying that. It's just, some players are just I want to be the best. I want to be the best of the best, and I want everyone to love me. And it's no, you're level 1. Screw you. You're not going to take the spotlight from all these other people who are just making, normal everyday Joe characters that are just starting to adventure. And you're this guy who's always adventured, and now, you're taking the spotlight. I don't care if your mechanics say one thing or another. You might have a +2 to freaking... to you, a +2 perception might just be a +2 perception. But to me, that just means you're a little bit above average with perception. To me. Other people might just see it as a mechanic that you roll the dice with. Not to me, though. I like to think that mechanics actually make sense when you convert it to role-playing. And a lot of times they don't. And people are like, oh, you gotta take a lot of role-playing games have abstraction. And you gotta deal with it. And I guess if you don't mind dealing with it, then that's your gameplay, but it's just not for me, man. I don't really like the abstraction. I was like, I was sitting there one day, I was like, how do hit points work? That doesn't make no sense. What are you just like, oh, you got stabbed in the chest. But don't worry, it only took 12 points and you have 60. So, even though he just stabbed through your lung, you're not dying. Whatever. Or now all of a sudden doing 12 damage isn't nearly as big of a deal as it was at level 1. At level 1 you do 12 damage, you might kill the guy in one hit. But freaking level 6 you do 12 damage is not nearly as big a deal now. And to me that's just, I don't know, I don't like it. I think when numbers increase it should be for a reason, not just because you're going up in levels. So, like, I'm going to be creating my own RPG. Like, I've already started work on it. There's not really anything yet. I'm just still studying and writing down notes and all that stuff. But I already have an idea of what I'm going for. And what I'm going for is I'm making role-playing the focus. And I want to make the mechanics complement the role-playing, not the other way around. I don't want mechanics to be thought of and then think about how you can role-play with those mechanics. I want you to think about role-playing and then how mechanics can do that. As far as me creating the game, I mean. Of course, I don't want players to have to make mechanics. No. So yeah, like, it's always been a big problem with me is when people just want to kick in the door and be the hero. Freaking level 1. Oh, we're all going to head to the tavern, because that tends to be where you go at level 1. You all meet up in the tavern. You go to the tavern yourself and you walk up to the bar and you ask about any rumors or something like that. And then all of a sudden, some freaking dude in shining armor smashes open the door, like he kicks it open, like, and he's just like, oh, I am the hero of Valador or something. I don't know. It's just like, dude, really? No. You gotta earn that. You shouldn't start off at level 1 with all this honor and glory, in my opinion, That's the fun of role-playing from level 1, is that you don't start off with all that crap. You work up to it, If you want all that honor and glory and all you want to do is be a total badass, then turn on the freaking PlayStation, play some God of War. Be a badass all day. Freaking go rip ogres' eyes out and stuff. Or you can do it in this game as a regular Joe Schmo that no one thinks is going to be able to do that. You freaking, that's a hero to me, Like, hero to me isn't you're just already awesome. The hero to me is like some guy who stood up when no one thought he would. That's like the hero. That's why I've always liked Spider-Man, because Spider-Man isn't that strong. But, hell, he'll stand in front of a bullet for some person he doesn't know. Just because he's a hero. He's a great hero. Nonetheless, I want y'all's feedback. What do y'all think about heroes at level 1 and stuff like that? I mean, like, have you seen any systems that kind of stray people away from trying to do that? Because in D&D you can. You easily could. All you got to do is say it, and you are it, as long as your DM doesn't care. But yeah, so any systems with like really set in stone backgrounds, start off with a background and you just work with that background, you make your story based off of that type of background. Like, I'm not even saying it's got to be set in stone background. Like, it could be a vague background. Like, you could say you were a farmer. That doesn't mean anything. You could be any type of farmer you want. That doesn't mean what you do on your own time. It just means that's a profession you come from. Maybe that's what your family did. And that's just how you were raised. Nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I'd love to get y'all's replies. Peace out.